Woohoo, it's Wednesday. There we go.
We're here this week.
We are. Technology situations all taken care of for now, right?
And I swear I'd never touch the computer. It had nothing to do with me.
I was like, Ted, did you let Marianne touch the computer when you weren't looking?
No. I know better. I know the guys at, who are those people that come out and fix it?
Hey, Sandra. Oh, the from Best Buy, the Geek Squad.
Yeah, I know two of them by their first names.
They're like, oh, here we go again.
Here we go again. She touched the computer.
Well, so far we have Sandra and Gina with us. So we've got Wednesday morning, a little chilly, but at least it's sunshiny out.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Do you ever find that temperatures like either strengthen or hinder any, earthbound activity just because of the, energy and temperature difference?
I don't think the temperature has anything to do about it, but when the weather is really bad or nasty, I think that they like it when everybody's in the house. And, thunderstorms freak out a lot of people. And this wind was terrible this past week. So, and I think they just suck up on that energy.
So they're nervous about us, or they like us being nervous about driving in the ice and the snow. And
that's exactly right. And that's dangerous if they ride with you in the car, if the roads are bad, because they can't grab the wheel and make you have an accident, but they can distract you where you don't see somebody in front of you stopping. And I mean, they didn't put their foot on the gas pedal and make it worse. But that's why I'm curious to know these cars that can now drive themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a ghost in them and the way the ghost can affect the electronics, whoa! I hate to think what a ghost could do if it was in one of those cars.
I keep getting that mental picture of that Mayhem character from the one car insurance company that keeps causing all the accidents.
True. Pretend he's a ghost, and there you go.
And he's your problem in the back seat.
Right.
That's a fun character, though not fun to have happen in real life. But
no.
All right. Oh, we've got Patrick with us. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I don't know why I thought to ask that, like the whole temperature and if it, affects ghosts or.
I haven't noticed them anymore in any, countries or states that are hot, like Florida or California. And of course, I've been in, cold states too. And I haven't noticed them more in one place or another. I think there's more of them actually in Florida because of the senior citizens that are down there.
Well, yeah.
So it's more of the type of person living in that area.
Gotcha. Oh, well, Natalie asks that when ghosts see you, do they automatically know that you can see them, or do you have to let them know? Like, hey, I see you, buddy.
Nope, they do not know I can see them, and which is, believe me, a blessing for me. But if I want to get their attention, I will stare at them. And if they look in my direction, I'll wink at them. And then they pull one of these, who's she winking at? And I'll go, you, bud. And but no, I have come up to people I've come up to ghosts in stores if I thought they were doing something they shouldn't be doing, or restaurants or airplanes. But no, they don't know I can see them, which, like I said, I think is a really good thing.
Oh, you would be constantly bombarded, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. No.
Sarah wants to know, when you pass away, can you see everyone that's there? And I don't know if just still living or those that have passed. That might be in the same area.
When you pass, well, yes, I would think that once you go into the light and you go wherever you're supposed to go, that's when you will see your friends, your family, your loved ones. That's where you're supposed to reunite. So I would think so. I don't know. I can't see into the white light, but I would think that you could. I
Hmm.
mean, they're there before, when the white light is around a lot of sick people before they die. They can see mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and loved ones. So they've got to be there waiting for them for when they die. So I think you would.
Patrick wants to know if earthbounds speak to one another. Um, you've mentioned before that they generally aren't in the same room, but do they ever hang out? Do they sign language from the kitchen into the living room?
No, they can see each other, obviously, but the only ones that actually do hang out together are kid ghosts because kids
Oh.
like kids whether they're alive or dead, so you will get a little group of kid ghosts together, but adults, no. And I've told the story before about the woman that lived, the ghost stayed upstairs on the second floor, and her husband was dead, and he was a ghost on the first floor, and they never talked. But of course, she killed him, so that would be a good reason why that they didn't talk. But they didn't even talk. So, no.
Holding a grudge forever,
Yep.
even after death.
Oh, yeah.
So then he says, like, when one ghost passes away, maybe they might wait for another loved one. And then when the loved one passes, do they ever hang out together? I guess versus going into the light, did they say, like, let's stay in our house maybe that we built together? Or
No, there are a lot of ghosts that hang out and wait for a spouse to die. Nursing homes, for example, are full of women because everybody knows that we kill men, we drive them nuts, so they die before us, so we end up in nursing homes. But the amount of old men ghosts hanging out in nursing homes is amazing. You can't be,
Hmm.
I mean, and what they're going to do is just cross over with their wife when she dies. I've never seen them both stay, and that would affect them too. It would affect their energy. So no, I don't think, I've never seen that. I see that, when I could go to funerals, which I can't do now, but when I could go to funerals, I always saw the wife looking into the light, smiling or shaking her head, yes, that, that she was going to be going toward the light to see her husband. So no, they don't hang out together once the other one dies. Mm-mm.
So our next question is, so if there is reincarnation and when you cross over, you see your loved ones, does that mean they haven't reincarnated yet?
No, that is not what they mean. There's always a part of you that stays on the other side. There's so many millions of atoms in all of us that it's the energy from us stays there. So when you die, even if somebody is reincarnated, when you go to the light, you will still see that person. So no, that is not true at all.
So kind of like your higher self, if you will, is still.
Correct. Correct.
Let's see. So have you ever been to the funeral of a deceased that has been cremated, and can you still see them?
Yes, and they do attend that funeral too, because it's usually a memorial service, and who's ever speaking, the person is standing right to their left. And when that memorial service is over, that's when their 48 to 72 hours would start. And just be aware that if they were cremated, that that's what they wanted. Because a lot of times, because, well, the cost, number one, for funerals is outrageous, but a lot of people live longer now. And when, mom dies, it's like, gee, there's nobody left. Why would we bother to have a viewing or anything for her? We'll just have her cremated in a memorial service. Well, believe me, if that's not what mom wanted, that would be a real good reason why she would not cross over. So, but yes, that the spirit is still there. As long as the spirit hasn't gone into the light, I can see them.
Because they're not really like the status of their physical body has no relation of how
No.
you would see them or
No, the body is what's missing parts and pieces or bloody and gory. The spirit is always whole. Even somebody, let's say somebody was born without a limb, If
Mhm.
I go to that funeral, that person has both of their legs or both of their arms. So the body is what is deformed or mangled. The spirit is always whole.
It's kinda like our little just our vehicle in this life, and sometimes we got a lemon.
That's right. Yeah, that's about right.
Oh. Headache says they did their first law of abundance and it worked. Um,
Little is better than nothing, and it does. And this last one was a pistol to do. 7 minutes after midnight. I think a lot of people set their clocks so they could get it. It was obviously easier in other time zones than ours, but I that's the third one I've heard from three. Now you were number three, but two other people have left messages that it already worked for them too.
nice.
It does work. It really does.
So Sandra wants to know if being earthbound is a choice, and if so, what are some reasons why earthbound spirits stay behind?
It is a choice. You have free will when you're alive. You have free will when you're dead. And if you don't want to go into that light, you don't have to go. People stay for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes if a young mother dies, she's going to stick around to watch her kids. Or if somebody was murdered, that
Mm,
person may stick around to try to tell somebody who killed them. Remember Ghost with Patrick Swayze? He stuck around till, found out what happened. People are definitely attached to their personal items. And I've said many, many times, you do not want to buy diamonds from an estate sale, especially if they're nice diamonds, because you are probably going to get a lady ghost attached to those diamonds. They like them if they're alive or dead. So, you could easily bring, even if you reset it, it's still her diamond. Um, People that commit suicide. Up until 15 years ago, if you were Catholic, that was an automatic mortal sin. You died, you went right to hell. So now here's the person standing at the foot of their casket, and they're thinking, "Cripe, if I go into that light, I'm going to hell." Why would they ever go?
right.
So they stayed. And of course, now it's that been thrown out the window. So there's all kinds of reasons why people, a 17-year-old wraps his car around a light pole, and there he is at his funeral. I'm not going. Nobody's going to make me go, and I'm sticking around. And when you don't cross into the light, you stay the same age. So here he was 17 when he died, and he's hanging out with his buddies. And here they're all getting older. They're going to college. They go to the service. They get married, have kids, their grandparents, and he's still 17 years old. Wasn't what he thought it was going to be. So there's all kinds of reasons why people stay. Unfinished business is a good one too. Families, you always think, I mean, people would call and say, "No, you have to understand, I want you to come to the funeral, but my family is really weird." I don't think there's such a thing as a normal family. I think every family has got issues. I mean, that little group is standing over there, staring at that little group over there because they're not talking. Sometimes, and if it was the patriarch of the family, he's going, "Oh, these kids aren't talking. I better stick around and see." So there's all kinds of reasons why they stay.
But you can always, if you choose to stay around and be an invisible pest for a while, when you decide to go, just go to a funeral home, right? And wait for a
Correct.
white light to,
Because that white light that's standing around that person that died is not an individual light, that's a universal light. So all you have to do is go to that funeral and use that light and go where you need to be. So it would, yeah, nobody should ever be stuck. I've been doing this for so long. It's in every one of my books that I've written. It tells you how to go if you decide to stick around. Wouldn't recommend it, but that's still your choice.
so definitely not given permission to stick around, miss your light on purpose, go have fun, and then cross over.
That's right. And some people just want to get even.
I always joke that if something were to happen, I would go haunt the store for a little bit.
Yeah, but you
That's
couldn't get
every
in,
year.
Melissa.
I know. I'm gonna go take a seat there. Banging on my own door. Let me in. It's fine.
Of course, don't forget that white light stays with you for 48 to 72 hours after your final memorial service. So you could easily get in the store in that time period because you're not really stuck. And you could lose your light in the store, which
True.
means you would be in the store because you wouldn't be able to get out then. So I guess you
All of
got to
the
decide what you want to do.
all of the rock mandalas that would be formed every morning. We'll play like go find wherever I move the crystal skull at, you know.
Right, right. Seek and find. Right,
I'll spell out call Marianne in rose quartz.
right.
Help me. Uh, um, so Patrick asks, Marianne, I know you mentioned before about dogs and cats remaining as ghosts sometimes, but what about insects? I know it's a weird question, but just curious.
That must be something in the water because the one of the letters that I'm going to be doing later today at 5:30 asks about dolphins and whales if I've ever seen them. I don't think I've ever seen a ghost insect. It's usually, animals, big animals, dogs. Of course, we had a pygmy hedgehog, and I saw her little spirit for a little while,
Aw.
when she died. Um, but no, I've never seen an insect. No, I don't, not, no. Mm-mm. The lowest thing that I've seen would be a snake. I've seen snake ghosts, which just does not thrill me one little bit. But I have seen ghost snakes, and that's about the lowest I would say in the pecking order. Well, I don't know. Maybe the hedgehog was under the snake, but that would be the lowest. I've never seen. I've never seen. Oh, I saw a bird. I saw a chicken get hit by a car, and I saw the spirit come out of that chicken. But I don't think it stuck around. I think it was gone.
I have to wonder, the scientific order of like brain formation, how you have like the reptilian, the bird. I wonder if it's maybe correlated into the formation of the brain and how
I
the
would
spirit
think.
manipulated.
I would think because I think everybody has the spirit in them. Anything that breathes has the spirit in them, but I don't think they can do anything with it if they're on the lower spectrum. I think
Hmm.
that would just be they would just die and go to the light, and that would be it.
Hmm.
I mean, I would think. I don't know. I mean, I've never seen.
Ponder.
You know, I would feel terrible. When the kids would lose a goldfish and they'd want to bury it or throw it down the toilet, whatever you wanted. I've never saw a spirit following the goldfish down the toilet, so I don't think so.
Hmm.
I no, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, something to ponder on long drives now.
Right, right. Think about that one. Right.
So Gina wants to know, when she did the law of abundance, I guess she printed out the check rather than handwriting it. Is
I
that
don't think it
okay?
makes any difference as long as you are the one that did everything on the check. A lot of wives will fill out everything on the check for their husband and then let him come over and sign it. No, it's his energy that has to go into the check. So you have to fill it out yourself, whether you print it or, write in script. However, I would not type it because, again, you're not putting your energy into it if you're typing the thing out. So I would just take 2 minutes and write it out.
Right. So then, Mariana or Marla, I'm sorry. Marla would like to know if you could just kind of go over like what the law of abundance is. I guess maybe she's never heard of it yet.
Okay. On a new moon, you write out a check. Okay, I don't know how much it is. You write out a check and you never put a date on it because you don't want to limit when you're going to get it. You put your name on the line, never fill in the amount. The next line you write paid in full, and where you would sign your name, you write law of abundance. Now, money is available, and but you have to ask for it. It just doesn't come down to you. So if you write this check out once a month, you have to do it before the new moon peaks that day. And that's what we were talking about before. This one for this month was difficult because it peaked 7 minutes after midnight, which means you had to write it after midnight, but before 7 minutes after. So that one was hard. But normally they're not that hard. You do have to do it once a month, and you have to save that piece of paper. Now, if you go to my website, you can actually print out a check and fill it out, but you can use a check out of your checkbook and just fill it out. But in your check registry, don't write void. You just voided the whole thing out. Write law of abundance, so when you're looking for that check, you know where it went. And just, I mean, I've been doing this for years and years and years, both Ted and I, and I've got shoe boxes full of these checks. And this is not money that's expected. It's something totally different. It is a girl I know did it, and she had 3 huge dogs, and she won a year of free dog food. Cruises. People have won the lottery. That happened, was that last month where that lady called me?
I think so.
Hours. Yeah, I don't know. I think that day it was like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You had to write the check by. They waited until her husband waited until he wrote out his check, went to the local store and bought a lottery ticket and won $20,000.
Hmm.
So it's out there, but you have to ask for it, and it's simple. If you get my newsletter every month, then you get a couple days notice before it is, or you can go to my website and it'll tell you the times for all the new moons when the next ones are coming up. So, geez, we have to do that for 2021. I think a lot of us need to know that. But that's basically how it works. Some lady, actually, I had done an event, and it was an older woman, and her daughter came up to me, and the daughter says, does it only work with money? I says, no, it doesn't. I said, why? She says, well, my mother needs a kidney transplant, but she has such a rare type of blood that is probably never going to happen. She said, should I do it? And I said, what do you got to lose? I mean, it takes 5 minutes. 3 months later, that lady got her kidney. So you got it. Just write it out. Just have to remember to do it.
Right. I've got little drawers full, or I shouldn't say little drawers full of little bits of paper.
Right. Oh, I've already been sitting in a restaurant a couple years ago thinking, oh my gosh, I forgot. And I wrote out a check on a paper napkin. Just I made it look like a check. That's what I did. It's just a matter of just doing it. I like to do them on yellow paper because yellow seems to attract it a little bit more. So a lot of people do use a yellow legal pad to make the check out. You would think it's green because money is green, but it is not. It is yellow. But again, that's not even the important thing. The important thing is to write it on the right day at the right time.
So Melissa wants to know, how can she tell if she has a ghost? Her dad died in 2004, and I've always wondered if he's still around. How might she figure out if he is there?
Okay, the best way to tell if a relative or friend has died is, do you dream of them? It would be a nice dream. They look good. They look healthy. They're smiling. Being it's your dad, he's going to look younger than when he died. Not by years and years, but maybe 5, 10, 15 years younger. And that's the best way. That's 100% accurate that if you dream of him, because earthbound spirits cannot get into dreams. Now, if you have a dream about your dad and it's very unnerving, it's not a nice dream, that is not him in your dream. That is you having a dream about him. And there's a difference if you think about it. But that's the best way to tell for sure. He's going to be visiting. The holidays are coming up. People that have crossed over don't miss holidays, birthdays, weddings, any event in a grandchild's life. They show up for all of that. And when you take pictures at these events, any of the orbs that you see in pictures, perfectly round circles, they can be big, they can be little, they can be sparkly, they can be any color, but if there's a design in the middle of that orb, that is somebody that crossed over and is visiting. If it was taken on a digital device, which is probably all of them now, if you make that orb bigger that has the design in the middle, you can usually see a side profile or a face of who it is. Now, if the orb is totally blank, it's just a dust particle. It's nothing. But that would be the best way. And of course, the other way is, you can call and see if the house is clear or if he's there, or come on Zoom. I think this one for this Friday is full, and the next one is December 11th.
December 11th. That one's almost full. So,
and we opened up one on the 21st?
Yeah, I've got to put that up later this afternoon, the 21st. The one on the 11th, we're already at 20 out of 30. So later this afternoon, the space and the event's going to open for the 21st, which is a Monday.
Maybe it'll just catch the overflow.
Right, yeah. Let's see. Some of the comments are coming quicker here. It's jumping on me, so give me just a second. Zoanne says she keeps having dreams about people in her life that have passed, but mostly her mother. Is there a special reason for this?
Okay. When you dream of somebody that died and it's somebody that you know, your mom, a relative, you can talk to them in a dream. And people don't realize that. You could actually have a conversation with them. And maybe there's something she's trying to tell you, and you're not paying attention to what she's saying. So just try to pay attention, or the next time you have a dream of her, believe it or not, you will know it, and just say, hi, hey, mom, hi, how are you? And see if you can't start up a conversation with her and see what it is that she's trying to tell you. That would be my best guess on what that could be.
Let's see. Andy wants to know if there's any tips on removing a couple that are causing hoarding issues at her parents. Attempted to get them to move on, but they refused. I'm assuming that maybe this couple is deceased.
Any kids that are moving, a couple? Okay, I bet he thinks there's a couple ghosts in his house that are causing hoarding issues at his parents' house. That's how I would read that. I will tell you, Andy, if you can see the ghost, talk to the ghost, create the white light, watch them walk into it, and close the light, then don't be trying to get rid of them, because all you are doing is giving them more energy. And you're stressed out enough already with your parents hoarding. And so seriously, don't throw holy water around. The best thing that you could do is, and you're not going to get a priest or a minister now with the virus to come in because they've avoided all houses, but to have the house blessed. But do not throw holy water around, because who's ever there, that will make them very angry. And I would normally say smudge, but depending on how bad the hoarding is and how crowded the rooms are, you would have to determine if it would be worth it or not. Um, this might be one of these things that, well, they probably wouldn't allow you to come on Zoom so I could see if there were really ghosts in the house or not. Because if they're hoarding, they probably don't want that out there. But you can always call me from the parents' house, and I could tell you, who or what it is. But I wouldn't see. I don't know. If you think you could smudge safely without burning the house down, you might want to try that.
And anybody that wants to get a hold of Marianne, her website's there on the screen, and the phone number to call is on the website. You can also get the Quincy jewelry from the online store on her website there as
Yeah,
well.
and by putting a charm on, if the parents would wear a charm, at least that would keep, if there are ghosts in the house, that would keep a ghost 3.5, 4 feet away from your parents, which might be enough of the space where they start thinking a little bit more rationally about the hoarding issues. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's a hard problem to have. It really is.
Um, Catching up again. Patrick wants to know if certain types of spirits are stronger than others. How you mentioned before, some can move things, maybe others can't. It doesn't matter how long that they've been dead. Do they learn to do certain things as time goes on?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with that. It has to do with the phases of the moon. And ghosts that are going to be ornery, if there's a phase of the moon, like the week working up to a full moon or the day of a new moon, there's more energy. And if they're ornery, that's the day that they're going to be more active and move things. And it is Sunday. What is it? I think the last Sunday of this month is an eclipse. So, and I think that's a full moon actually, or it's on Monday. I don't know. It's the end of the month. Um, so that week, because of the eclipse, they would have a whole lot more energy. So it doesn't have anything to do with them. I mean, if you've got a ghost kid in the house that's 5 or 6 years old, they're not going to go down and break the furnace like an adult male ghost in the house would do. So remember, they can do the same things that they did when they were alive. So a kid isn't going to go rip the tiles off your roof so your roof leaks or the shingles, but a male ghost can, or pull the gutters down. So put it in the right space, the right age space.
Mm.
And, if you have kids in your house, your children, and you've got a ghost kid in the house, that kid is the one that's probably breaking your kid's toys. The kids aren't being rough on them, the ghost kid is. So you just have to sort of put it in the right order.
So Elise wants to know if there's a good way to communicate with someone who has passed. Do card readings help them communicate? And would it be accurate?
Again, I think I just covered that with the dreams. That would be, in my opinion, the best way to communicate with somebody that has passed. If you don't remember your dreams, get an herb called mugwort, Mugwort. Stick it between your pillowcase and your pillow, and in about 3 weeks, you'll start remembering your dreams. So that is sometimes a thing that's a problem, or certain medications retard you from remembering your dreams. But if you want to go to somebody that does readings, of course, there's a lot of talented people that can do that. But do you want to go to somebody that can talk to earthbound spirits, or do you want somebody that can talk to spirits that crossed over? You have to decide what you or who you want to talk to. And then I refer people actually back to Melissa, because she's got a whole roster of people that can do all kinds of things. And anybody that she recommends has been verified. They can do what they say they do. You have to be careful. And if you don't have access to Melissa or the store, then only go to somebody that a friend has gone to that has been happy with the results. You know, anybody can advertise, they pay for the advertising, and they can put in advertising anything they want because they're paying for it. But you want to get a referral more than go by that.
Right. Um, where did it go? Um, I have a lot of thank yous for doing these. Um, oh, Chrissy, and I remember her from a couple weeks ago. She wants to know if you've had any luck finding her letter, that she's even tried to call you from outside the house and um, I saw one of her others and it kind of bleeped away. So like she's even having issues communicating in the chat here. Um,
I'm wondering if she doesn't have a combination of both an earthbound spirit and maybe negative energy on her, where everything is being blocked. I'm curious, you sent a letter. Did it get returned? Did you have a return address on it? I mean, since you were on here, I've been looking and I haven't gotten a phone call from you yet either. I get a lot of garbled calls, and
mm,
people then start going on leaving messages on faces or Facebook and or on my website. That doesn't work. I don't see those. I never look at those. So I maybe what you should do, why don't we try this? Or why don't you try this? Why don't you have a friend come over to your house with their cell phone and don't talk about what you're going to do? Have this prearranged and have your friend come in and hand her the number or have her the number in her phone. Have her call from your house. Let's see if I can get a hit on it that way. And has she been on Zoom on one of them? Have we noticed her on Zoom that you
I don't
remember?
I don't think she was been on Zoom. She was on YouTube, and it was a couple of weeks ago. It was when I was able to sit out on the porch when it was still
Yeah,
warm outside.
right. No, I still haven't. And like I said, that's crazy because the letter would have had to been lost on your end, not my end, because my place is clear. So it would have had to been stopped on your end somehow. I mean, did you stick it out in your mailbox for the mailman to pick up? That wouldn't have been a good thing. Or they could have followed you someplace wherever you dropped the letter off. So I don't know. Obviously, though, somebody does not want you to talk to me.
Right. Well, and I mean, I can even vouch for ghosts messing with things outside of the house even. That pain in the butt that I had took the St. Joseph out of the ground and left a broken piece of other gnome in the place of it, and it's hilarious now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, until you're going through it and it's not funny.
yeah,
Right,
like that jerk.
right. Or
Um,
the other thing, Chrissy, if you don't have a Quincy charm on you, maybe you should get one and maybe wear the charm when you make the call so it can't get close to you. That could be something to try anyway. I don't know.
right. That could be at least keeping them away as you're trying to work your cell phone.
Right.
So Jean wants to know if you can tell by looking at somebody if they have negative attachments on them or energy through a picture, or do you have to see them live?
Well, I can tell on Zoom. And when somebody comes up to me at an event and they have a recent picture of somebody, about 75% of the time I can tell from that if somebody has negative energy on them or not. So, and when I talk to them on the phone, I can tell if they have negative energy on them or not. But whoever, if it's you and I'm talking to you, obviously I would be able to give you that message. But if you live with somebody and think that they have negative energy on them, when you make the call, that person has to be in the house. They don't have to be on the phone, but they do have to be in the house. And that way I'll know, well, gee, you don't, whoever this lady is, she doesn't have any negative energy on her, but whoever that guy is does. But that would be the only way for me to tell for sure.
So Gina wants to know what you might know or think about psychokinesis, that whole movement with mind and
Don't have enough, I don't have enough knowledge about that. Maybe you do, Melissa. I don't really have enough knowledge on that.
not really. I know there's been quite a few like haunted incidences where and it tends to be more poltergeist activity and it's usually a young female in the house and somehow they trace it back to the young female and the hormonal and the emotional static and that's what's causing things to move and I still don't understand enough science behind it but that's about all I know in
Yeah.
it though as a kid I always wish I could move things
I'll
around.
tell you what I think is odd is while we have a minute here, I cannot believe in the past, let me think about that, past 4 or 5 months, I have gotten so many calls from people telling me that they're empaths. And I don't know if this is the new it thing that when people go someplace and they say, I can do this, I can do this, and somebody goes, oh my God, you're an empath. I don't think people realize exactly what an empath does. And if you think you are an empath and you try to work with people, you could be putting yourself in a little bit of a risk there because you don't want something to attach to you that you think you're helping somebody else do. So you really need to know, and I don't know what the true definition of empath is. I should probably look that up. But I'm thinking out of all these people that have called, I don't think one of them was an empath, to be honest.
I think that when people are becoming more aware of their energy around them, including the energy of other people, that now you're paying attention to it. Suddenly they're like, I'm an empath now because I know that even though you're smiling, you're not having the greatest of day. And I'm like, everybody can do that. We just don't pay attention. We're so focused on our work, our kids, our late for getting to work, the red light that happened, and blah blah blah. That you're focused here, and you're not feeling here. There's a little bit more to just being able to feel, the
This
people
is what
around.
I told the one girl. It was like, oh, I know my girlfriend was just so emotionally distressed. I'm an empath. I could feel it. And it's like, I said, no, if she's your girlfriend, then you know what upsets her and what doesn't. That doesn't mean you're an empath. Somebody that is a true empath, if they're standing next to somebody that has a migraine headache, you are going to have a migraine headache. If you're standing next to somebody that is going through, just came through bad surgery or has a broken leg and they're in pain, you are going to feel that if you are an empath. Not just pick up on it, you're going to feel it. So before you call yourself an empath, make sure you know all the facts about it.
Right. I mean, it is a good thing to be able to start being aware,
Oh,
not
yeah.
to put that down on any sort of level, but that just means you're aware of the space around you, and there's perks to that as well, you
Right,
know.
right. And
Um,
let's face it, anybody that any woman or any parent that has had children, you're not an empath. You're a mother or a father and you've been through it. You know what the kids are going through. That doesn't mean you're an empath. That's knowledge that you've gained over years of being a parent.
mhm,
So it's like some of the ghosts that I talk to. It has nothing to do what I tell them, but they were brats when they're alive and they're still brats. So, and that's because I'm a mother and I could pick up on that, but not because of any abilities. So,
right, right. Um, oh, so back to our little when I mentioned the poltergeist, Andrew wants to know what's the difference. Are they just noisier?
well, I think they're more active. I mean, that's just another name for a ghost, an earthbound spirit, a ghost, a lemure, a poltergeist. I mean, there's all kinds of names for ghosts. It's like if you're looking at a vase of mixed flowers. Yes, there's daisies, there's a rose, there's a daffodil, there's a tulip, but you're right, but that's still a vase of flowers.
Mm.
So there, it's just got a bunch of names. And when you have a ghost that acts up or a little bit more, causing more problems in the house, people tend to call them poltergeist instead of just a plain old ghost.
Right. Well, and poltergeist is literally German for like noisy ghost.
Exactly.
Um, let's see here. Pulling up the links for some things. Um, oh, Chrissy says ever since she got the charm, so she does have a charm and still having issues getting phones to work. So maybe it'll be a good thing for the friend to try.
Yeah.
But that the migraines have stopped.
Well, that's good. That tells me that whoever is in the house can't get close to you, which is exactly what the charm is supposed to do. Keep them 3.5, 4 feet away from you. So at least I'm glad to hear that. But we've got to figure out some way to get communication between the two of us. In Indiana, well, she's not there. I think she's not that far away. I mean, I don't think she's like 6 states away. I think she's fairly close to Ohio. But this time of the year and with the virus, I'm not doing any traveling, that's for sure.
Well, in some of the states, I don't think they're even really letting you leave from state to state anyway.
No, no.
Um, so we got a question here from Caitlin. What do you do to get a ghost off your property? They've gotten them out of the house, but still having issues, I guess, peeping in the windows.
There's a couple things that you can try. I can't get them out away when they're outside. It's not in an enclosed area where I have their undivided attention. It's too open. And that's why I don't have a lot of control or ability when they are outside. But there's a couple things that you can do to try to keep them off your property. You can use sea salt and put it on your property line. And a lot of times they won't cross that. And if your property's too big, maybe you could put sea salt around the perimeter of your house. It comes coarse, but keep this in mind. If it rains hard or snows, which is going to be happening here, it's not going to last very long. Plus, wherever you put it, it's going to kill the flowers or the grass, just so you know. The other thing that you can do is put moonstones, which you have, Melissa, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Put moonstones on the four corners of your property, or again, if your property is too large, try to put them. No house is just a perfect square or rectangle. There's usually other corners of a house. So you would want to put a moonstone on the outside, maybe 3 feet away from the house. And that might keep them away from coming close to the house. But that's the only thing that I know you can try outside. I really don't know what else you could try.
So I put up the link for the Zoom session because a few people are asking. There are 10 spaces left for December 11th. November is full. And I'll be adding, because we just decided last night at like, 10:30
Yeah.
to add December 21st. So it'll be right before the holiday.
Well, if you couldn't get in one of the other ones, then it's a Monday night and it'll be 7:30. So that might be, the only thing is that means your kids are probably going to be home, and I do not want any kids on Zoom at all. I don't want them on the other side of the door listening, because if you want to tell your kids what I said when we're over, fine. They're not going to hear it from me. So nobody under 18 is allowed on Zoom, and I'm really definite about that.
And I'll put that up again before the end of our session today. Renee is asking that, we know per Zoom that her father's earthbound, but she's still having dreams of him. Is it like a psychic ability for her to be able to come through since earthbounds can't come through in dreams?
Exactly right. And she does have that ability. And I don't remember or if I ever really knew how long her father's been dead, but he has got a lot of energy for an older gentleman, let me tell you. And he's the man is determined. So that wouldn't surprise me. And again, she's having dreams about him. He is not in her dreams, but she's getting information. I think he's in her house enough where she's just picking up on it and then she dreams about it.
I know at one point, like somebody had given me a nice leather ottoman thing that I still have, but as soon as I got that, like I was sleeping for crap, and I kept dreaming about an old man and an old like whale of a car with the big finned um, like lights, I guess. And I
Yeah,
kept thinking, like, where in the hell is this coming from? And so, I had Ian. I'm like, do your thing, just do your thing, and it stopped. Um, but apparently he was associated with that leather like ottoman
right.
thing.
Well, it's like that
Definitely.
it's like when somebody goes to an antique store and they're sort of, I mean, all of a sudden they start looking at teacups. They've never looked at teacups in their life. I mean, they don't have any teacups, but oh, that one's really pretty, and they buy it. Somebody in that store, some earthbound spirit in that influenced them to do that. And there was a lady, and I'm using a teacup as an example because she thought, why am I buying this? It's $15. I don't like it. And she left it. 3 days later, she dreamt of that stupid teacup. And now the ghost didn't put that in her head, but yet it was enough of, it's like, you don't talk about Uncle Charlie, and all of a sudden your sister calls and she's talking about Uncle Charlie. 3 days later, you dream of Uncle Charlie. Well, it was suggested, and your mind just files all that stuff, and sometimes it pops up in a dream.
Let's see, any last minute questions here? Oh, um Gina wants to know if tar water keeps spirits away.
Okay, Melissa, you jump on that one.
And I think this may be somebody that I just saw in the store, because somebody just asked me yesterday about tar water. I do not know of tar water keeping spirits away. That tends to be something that is more of a heavy duty, a little more batty of a situation, non-human type things. At one point, was used. There have been some acts going on against, personally, when I got rid of some people that I used to work with, and something got into the store, and it was suggested to use the tar water. But the thing that was there was never an earthbound. It was like a golem type thing. And, never in dealing with earthbound or reading about or having talked with you and other people giving suggestions has tar water ever been.
What do
Uh,
you do? Go knock off a piece of tar off the road and put it in water?
it's like a solution that you can get. You can get it from Amazon, and you dilute it, and you have to dilute it because it's kind of a toxic thing to use. And let me tell you, it stinks to high heaven. This
Oh,
is something
well,
that you're going
tar
to
road
use,
stinks, for heaven's sakes.
and it needs to be well ventilated when you're using it. So it's not something that, you're just going to willy-nilly go around using. I know some people who, don't like the scent of sage for whatever reason, personal, that's fine. Um, like I don't like cilantro, other people like cilantro.
Oh, I don't either.
So, but after you burn sage, after a couple, like it dissipates, it kind of goes away. It's not there forever. Like tar water, you're going to smell that nasty stuff for a couple days. It's not great. It's not something you should just be jumping in on without really reading safety precautions. And do you really need to get that depth into it? Um, but it's not, that's like way overkill for an earthbound. Like in your level of problems, earthbounds are down here. And when you need to do tar water, you're way the hell up here. So, um,
There's so much stuff I don't know. And there's so much stuff I don't know, and I'm so happy I don't.
yeah. Yeah, Gina, tar water to be used outside. Yeah, you're most way better, getting away. If you're gonna use it, do it outside. Don't do it in your house. And if I remember right, there could be like staining issues. So if you've got nice woodwork or certain types of fabric, like then you've got to worry about that too. Because it's like a really dark black, like tar, black liquid. And even when you dilute it out, like it's still a tinge to it. So it's not something you should be just spritzing around, for the heck of it. Um, and I want to say that's more of a tradition too of like an old like folk type of tradition and working. Not really an earthbound thing. I'm gonna have to start dusting out some of my old notes and books and
Yeah, look at
things.
this. I've never even heard of that. It was
Uh,
like salt and alcohol. I'd never heard of that either. So,
yeah, when I was looking up on that, that tends to be more of just negative energy and not earthbound, so it's more of a feng shui practice.
right, right.
Um, and very flammable from what I was reading on it. Like if you have kids, don't let them
Be around,
be
right,
around that or be the ones to light it on fire because alcohol is extremely flammable.
right.
Um, let's see. Any last minute questions here? Because it's already almost 11 o'clock. That went by quick.
Yeah, it did.
Um, let's see. So, if anybody's wanting to join us on Zoom, here is the link. November, this Friday, is sold out. We have like 10 spots left for December 11th, and we're going to get the December 21st added here by the end of the end of the day. We limit it to only 30 people. Everybody gets to ask 2 questions. So Marianne can answer if you have earthbound spirits in your house, if you have a portal, and if you have negative energy on you. So normally you have to call and leave a message and wait. You're what, like 6, 8 weeks out, right? In order for Marianne to get back to you, you can find out right there on that session. These Zoom sessions are not available to go back for replay. So once they're done that night, they're done. It's not going to be found anywhere else. You don't have to worry about it popping up on YouTube. These you can always go back and watch, but the Zoom sessions are private. They're not hosted anywhere. If we do any recording, it's for promotional for Marianne, and it's not geared to put your business out and about. So,
And we will be here next Wednesday too. So while you're making your stuffing, you could be listening because the next day is Thanksgiving. So we'll go ahead and we'll see if people are home next week,
right.
Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning.
They might be if COVID keeps. Aren't we supposed to find out tomorrow or Friday what DeWine's going to do about bars, restaurants, and is it
Oh,
gyms?
no, it's already in effect
Oh, is it? Oh,
starting tomorrow.
yeah,
Yeah,
10 o'clock
everything's
behind.
down at 10 o'clock at night. It's a curfew, 10 o'clock. So,
Well, it's for businesses that are open from 10 to 5 a.m., right?
well, no, it's like bars have to close at 10. They can't stay open past 10.
Okay.
And it's not as bad. I mean, I see what he's trying to do. I think he's just trying to give people a break that have businesses so they can still keep them open. But people just aren't paying attention. And I feel sorry for the man. I think he's at his wit's ends. I don't think he knows what else to try. So,
I wouldn't want to be in his shoes.
no, there was a comment about him running for governor in 2 years, and I won't even say where the comment came from. However, that man would be out of his mind to run again in 10 years. I think this has done him in. I think he's done. So, which is too bad because I think he's been with this COVID, I think he's been pretty much on the ball, but if people don't cooperate, what are you supposed to do?
Right. Um, so we got couple of questions. It's up to you if you want to answer them, or maybe we'll save them for next week.
No, go, if they're quick, go ahead.
Sandra wants to know what kind of spirits come through a portal. Mean ones, nasty ones.
Nasty, nasty spirits come from a portal. The portal is an energy opening that is blown open by live people, not dead people. And the spirits that come out of a portal they have done heinous things when they were alive. They're not the sweet old lady that walks in through the front door. But there's a whole bunch of information on portals that you can go back to on my Wednesday YouTubes. And there's all kinds of information on there on portals.
Yeah, it's never the nice fun. Look, Robin Williams came through a portal.
No, not so much.
Right. And one last one. With the assistance of fairies, do mermaids exist?
You know what? I'm almost going to say yes. Mermaids, mermen. I think there are too many people that worked on the oceans besides sailors or pirates, but I think there's all kinds of people that, work on water. And it's like when people talk about near-death experiences, how can people all have identically the same reaction and describing it the same way when they don't know each other? And I think mermaids and mermen, maybe they don't exist anymore, but I believe they probably did at some point. I really do.
Especially to have similar stories from different shipping routes and
different oceans.
Right. And there was no way that they could talk to one another.
No.
Like, God, did you see that?
Right.
Yeah, it's always fun, that whole investigating and concept to me.
Right.
So one last time, here is the link to sign up for Zoom. December 11th has a few openings, and December 21st will be up soon. If you would like to go to Marianne's website and get the phone number to leave her a message, or if you would like to have a quinseed shipped to you, when would be the last time somebody could order one online and get it in time for Christmas?
Ted, what's the last date for Christmas gifts for the charms or anything from the store?
Probably by the 21st would be safe.
December 21st would probably be the safest one. So that would be, that would be the Monday before Christmas. So he says that you could. And we have been known for people that actually live close or in the same town or in town over, where Ted has met them at the post office and,
did a drop off?
Met them that way. Yeah. If it wasn't going to make it in time. Yeah, exactly.
Because they're cute. I always have one.
And we may still be at the store too.
Yeah, that's coming up.
I forgot that date.
Another tab.
I don't remember when that date is.
All the things going on. But there will be the meet and greet, and I'm waiting for my events page to open.
The 19th, maybe?
I think so. You think
I think it's the 19th.
It is from 1 to 4.
From 1 to 4, if it doesn't get closed down. But I know, definitely masks and definitely social distancing. The one we had a couple of weeks ago, everybody behaved. It was nice. And I got to see a lot of people, which was nice. So that's another way, if you're looking for something, we have all the products there. So.
Yeah, so you'll have your little mugwort dream bags, the charms. You'll have your blessed sea salt and the soap. Maybe if you have
to be there. Yep, the soap, the salt. The only thing we have that we don't bring to the store is the smudge sticks because you sell them, and I'm not going to. So if they need them, they can buy them from you. So, but
you still have your shirts.
I don't know if we have any shirts left. No shirts. Okay. We won't be having shirts.
Okay. We'll have to come up with a fun shirt. I know a guy who can print some shirts.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
So good, so good.
That's right.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for visiting us. We'll be back next Wednesday at 10 a.m. We'll be thinking about turkeys and feasting and maybe some good questions about earthbound spirits and how they might muck up your turkey.
That is, people are sending, I've been asking on the YouTube people to send in letters or experiences where a ghost has wrecked or done problems in a house over what either Thanksgiving or Christmas and or New Year's. It's got some good letters. So
I always imagine most of them are going to have to do with those giant deep fryers because it seems like anytime there's a fire on Thanksgiving, those deep fryers are involved. And, you know,
and depending if it's anywhere near a new moon, a full moon, it would be so easy to knock that over for a ghost with a lot of energy. It would be so easy.
like just cheap, put them in the oven bag, stick them in the oven.
And let it go. That's right.
A lot less can go wrong that way.
That's right.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us. And we look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday at 10 a.m.
Be safe, everybody.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.